Alrighty. I think I have finally worked out all of my kinks. See, this is why. Let me just tell y'all real quick. This is why I really struggle with doing content, y'all. I just do not have the patience for it. I do not have the patience. Like, oh my goodness. If y'all only knew how long I've been sitting here trying to get all my bugs and my kinks worked out. That's why I just ended up going live because I'm just like, okay, trying to just do pre-recording is not it's not working out for me. And it could be me. It could be my user error. Um, yeah, it, we're gonna work it out. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. It just it's a learning process, and it's gonna take some time. But hello, 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 and welcome back. Um, you guys know why I am here. We've got to get into some things, okay? But before we do, can you do me a favor, please, and hit the like button for me? It really helps me out to push my videos into the algorithm and just shares the message with the people. So we really want that, and we are on our way to 100 subscribers. That is my goal. So hitting that like really helps me out, and also go ahead and subscribe too. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers, and would really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button, turn your notification on, please, and thank you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. Finally, it's been like child a minute. um, but we have got to talk about this brewing feud, which I knew it was a brewing feud. I was just hoping that it wouldn't boil over, but it looks like that is happening. So we've got to talk about it because I am a big, big, big Daily Wire fan. I'm a big fan of their content and just the work that they've really been doing and putting into um, to just giving us good quality content that is not agenda based and or as far as they're doing their kids content that's just for kids, and then just giving us alternative media that isn't what's pushed in the mainstream. So I'm a really big fan of the Daily Wire. I'm a huge fan of Candace. I love me some Candace Owens. If you know me, you know that's my girl. I love her. I really, really appreciate her voice, and I value her so, so much. Um, and I like Ben too. I like Ben. I'm not as big of a fan of Ben as I am Candace. Like if I have like my like ranking of like Daily Wire hosts, and Candace is definitely above Ben. But I like Ben too. I have no problem with Ben and like his message and what he puts out there. I think he's also really important. He's like a integral part of the Daily Wire. He is like an owner of it. So it's really disheartening to see just so much betrayal from him to Candace, and this isn't the first time that they've had an issue. So, this is like this isn't anything new. It's just really disappointing to see it boil over like this. But the point of this video is not going to be to defend Candace just because I'm a fan of her. I am a fan, but that's not why I'm defending her. I am, I'm just going to give my take on it, um, and it's not a biased take. This is just genuinely what is right and what's wrong. And I think Ben is 100% wrong on this one. So if you follow me on Facebook, I do go into deep depth of my take on the Israel versus Palestine conflict, really Israel versus Hamas conflict. And I've really gone into depth on my opinion on there. You can definitely add me on Facebook if you like. It's the same as my YouTube name, Deep Lake, same on YouTube as it is on Facebook. And I do try to post some engaging content throughout the week and during the day on there as well. But yeah, basically, like long story short, because I don't want to get into too much of that on this video. My stance on it is that I am in support of Israel. Like um, I believe that they have every right to defend themselves, and I I understand that war can be brutal, that it's not fun, obviously. That does not mean that I enjoy seeing civilians die or seeing children die. Like that's not at all what I'm, what I am in support of. But at the same time, I understand that Israel is only finishing what Hamas has started, and I think that we have quickly forgotten how brutal Hamas attack on Israel was, and so I think to try to show support for a group like that is just it's wrong in my opinion, and I think that when you look at just the history and like in the facts, I just don't see how you can come to any other conclusion other than Israel needs to destroy Hamas, like point blank period. So I say that to say that seeing how I feel that way, you would think that I would be on Ben's side, right? You think I would agree with him on his take of Candace, and I really don't. I think it is just really, really wrong what he did. Um, I understand that he's very passionate because he is. I'm gonna call him a J because I don't want to flag, YouTube or anything. I think that it's really wrong what he did. But he is a J, and he is very passionate about this conflict and this topic, as rightfully so. I completely understand his passion for the topic. He has personal ties to Israel, so I definitely understand why he is so passionate and why he does speak the way that he does. But you know, it's understandable, and I actually tend to agree with what he says a lot on the conflict. Like I do follow his takes, and I do agree with him most of the like pretty much everything that he said. Not everything, almost everything that he said, I have agreed with him on. So yeah, like, and with Candace, I've actually disagreed. I've disagreed with her on a lot of her takes on this topic. I think she has been just flat out wrong a lot of the times on this topic. But that does not mean that I think that she's not entitled to have her opinion or that she should be silenced from speaking her mind. And so I I really don't understand like why Ben is just spewing like such like vitriol towards her. Um, when it comes to this, because one thing that I actually really loved about the Daily Wire, one thing that I really really enjoyed about them was that they don't make their content creators, they don't make them have to take a unified stance on every topic. Like they're allowed, like they give their creators like the freedom to express themselves and have different opinions and do just have whatever take that they want and not be censored and not be controlled into giving a certain opinion just because their boss feels a certain way or whatever the case is. But apparently, like that's not really the case. That's only when it comes to this topic of like anti-Semitism, um, and just anything involving the Jays. Like if you don't have Ben's opinion, apparently like that's wrong on the Daily Wire. Like you're not allowed to have that opinion, which I think that is really really wrong. And so like this isn't their first time him and Candace have had a disagreement over like this topic. If you guys remember, he Candace defended Ye during his scandal, and she defended Kyrie Irving during his scandal as well. And she was very vocal about her support for them and how she thought it was wrong what the media was doing to them. And Ben was very vocal about his dislike of her support of him. So it's there was a moment with during that where it did get a little heated, but they were obviously able to work through it. But I think my biggest issue is that anytime there is a disagreement with them, Candace is never like the first person who's going to come out and call out Ben by name and say Ben's wrong on this, like he's dumb or whatever the case. Like she's never like that kind of person. Like, and granted, like he's her boss, so of course it's probably like not smart for her to do that. I wouldn't recommend it, but at the same time, like she still keeps that respect for him, and it's just really like disappointing to see that Ben doesn't keep that same respect for her. Like he just doesn't. He if you have a disagreement with your with your employee, I don't understand why it's so difficult for him to just have that conversation with her in private. I don't understand why he feels the need to bring his negative remarks about her to the public. If you really feel that way, like, maybe you guys aren't friends, but you are at least cordial and you have a personal relationship, and you should be able to just voice those concerns directly to her. Like, I don't understand why he has this need to get the public involved in his opinion about Candace. And when he knows that his audience is going to attack her, he knows that his audience is going to spew hatred and vitriol towards her. Yet he still lays out the groundwork and like gives them a platform, basically, like, and he encourages them to attack her. And it's just like, as a boss, you should really just have more loyalty to your employees than that. I think, it's one of those things where correct somebody in private, defend them in public, like, or not even defend, like, he doesn't even have to defend her. Like, just let her do her thing, and you do your thing. Like, she's not scolding you for your opinion. Like, I don't understand why he feels the need to scold her um, over his. So yeah, I really don't like that. And again, like I said, I have disagreed with Candace a lot throughout her takes on this conflict, and I have agreed with Ben's takes on this conflict. So this is not like I'm just picking sides because I like one over the other. Like, no, like, what Ben has done, what he is doing, is that's wrong. It's just wrong. So what I want to do is go to Anthony Brian Logan's page, and I want to play some clips from his video that he did on this, because he's got it like all wrapped up and neat and whatnot. And so I don't have to like go to a bunch of different sources trying to figure out, trying to play each one. So we're going to go to his page and check out his video on this. I'm going to kind of jump around a little bit through it. But yeah, I love Anthony Brian Logan. I think he's a great Black conservative in the conservative space. I definitely recommend you guys go subscribe to his channel, go check him out. He makes really great content over there. So yeah, let's go check out his take on it.
than the former, which is causing him and Candace Owens to have a rift, a beef, a little bit of a spat. Now, this isn't the first time they've had issues, because remember, Kanye West went on this whole red media campaign talking about they did it, all this and that. And the third, Kanye and Candace are friends. She didn't denounce him. And I don't think Ben Shapiro liked that too much. But yet, Candace Owens is still on Daily Wire, and there's been no problems. So will this be any different? I'm not really sure. And before I go into any more details, let's roll the clip. If you want to see the clip in full without my commentary, link as always will be in the description. If you're on IG, visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Yes, the question is about Candace Owens. I think her behavior during this has been disgraceful. Without a doubt, I think it's yeah, she works for my company. I think she's been absolutely disgraceful. I think that her faux sophistication on these particular issues has been ridiculous. It's not faux sophistication, it's ridiculous. Everybody can see the moves that she's making and the things that she's saying, and I find them disreputable. Yes.
So there you have it. He is upset with what she's been saying.
So you heard what he said. He said that her commentary has been disgraceful, that she's been disgraceful throughout this, and that her opinions are ridiculous, and that he's basically just calling her dumb and saying that she, is disgraceful is just such a harsh word to use for somebody that you're supposed to be working with, that's someone who is somewhat under your wing a little bit. I I just cannot believe, and like, you see him like in a room full of people, and they're like just cheering him on, and I just cannot believe. Let me go back to me. I just cannot believe that he would really get up there and give that kind of commentary like that. It just seems so, I don't want to say beneath him. It's just not a good look. Not for him, not for his brand, not for the company. And he just really could have taken that moment to show a public support for her, even though he may not disagree. Like he could have expressed his disagreement. He could have said, because it sounds like people were asking him what his takes were on what she's been saying, and he could have just said, hey, I, obviously don't agree with Candace. I don't like the messaging that she's been using, but I respect her right to voice her opinion, and I never want to be the person who censors her or her thoughts. And she's welcome to feel how she feels, and I'm welcome to disagree with her, and we can continue to show respect for each other. Like that would have, like, he could have easily done that, but instead he chose to feed into the negativity. And if I were in Candace's shoes, I would just feel so betrayed by that, because it's just like, why don't you ever have my back? Like, even if you don't agree with me, like I wonder how many takes Bennett's had that Candace didn't agree with. But do you ever see her like getting online or giving speeches talking about how much she disagrees with him? Like, no, like she just continues to mind her business and states her opinion. So I just really don't understand that, and it's again really disappointing to hear from Ben. Let's hear a little bit of what Anthony Brown Logan had to say.
As it relates to Israel. And just for a little bit of clarification, Ben Shapiro is a political commentator, the same as Candace. And he also owns Daily Wire alongside his partner, Jeremy Boring. They own it together. Candace works for them, but of course, Candace is a force on her own. I think she could do whatever she wants to do. If she wants to take her same show somewhere else, it'd be the same thing, the same level of success, because she was on PragerU before Daily Wire, and before that, she was independent. Turning Point USA, she could do whatever she wants, in my humble opinion, and be just fine. I think they need her more than she needs them, which is probably why the whole Kanye thing did not result in her getting terminated from Daily Wire. Now, there's more. We got to get into what Candace Owens said. You got to get into what she said, because that's pretty important to understand. Now, here's one particular thing that she said that might have got Ben Shapiro a little bit upset.
Well, I am here today to endorse Nikki Haley for president of Israel. I think she's earned that. I think Bibi Netanyahu is going through a very bad time right now. Support for Israel has virtually collapsed socially. If you're paying attention to the trends and you're paying attention to what people are watching, you're paying attention to the protests. And the one person that I think is capable of getting it back is Nikki Haley, with enough money from foreign interest lobbies. So there it is, guys. I'm endorsing Nikki Haley, president of Israel.
So things like this probably got Ben Shapiro a little bit upset. And we all know, of course, Ben Shapiro obviously is Jewish. I think also Jeremy Boring is. So they're going to be upset at what she's saying, because that's like, hey, you're talking about our people, all this and that and the third. But really, it's about the government. If I can criticize my own government, being an American citizen, I'm Captain America. You see my USA hat. I got the USA flags in the background. I'm Captain America, but yet I criticize our federal government, local government, Democrats, Republicans, independents, regular voters, normies, little kids, dogs, cats, Martians. I criticize everything about this country that I think needs to be criticized. So why can't I do that for Israel? What's the difference? I'm not racist or anti-Semitic or anything like that. If I say the military did it,
And like that is such a good point from ABL, because it's just like, why is it that we're able to criticize America? We're able to, call out things for what they are. We're able to call out our flaws and, criticize and point out our room for improvement. But when someone does it towards Israel, they're anti-Semitic, or like they're just like not allowed, like they're not allowed to disagree with anything that Israel's doing. Otherwise, it is anti-Semitic. And shout out to Jason Whitlock as well, because he also gave his take on this situation. And I normally don't really play into like the whole race thing, like that's not really my thing, but I do think it's worth noting what he said, because it is kind of powerful what he said, because it's true. Like Ben Shapiro, who is a Jewish white man. Nothing wrong with that. He, he has no problem criticizing other groups in America. He has no problem criticizing Black America and the challenges of Black America and where our faults are, as as he should. I have no problem with him doing that. But so he's allowed to do that. He's very, Jason Whitlock said, like, he's very comfortable doing that. Like, he has no problem, making mockery videos of our rap music, making fun of it, which I think they're funny. I mean, again, this is not a criticism of him doing this. I think they're funny when he does that. He has no problem talking about our fatherless homes, and why our community is so far behind everyone else. He's very comfortable. He has no problem doing that. But yeah, when somebody criticizes his community, they're disgraceful. They're disgraceful for criticizing your community. But it's all fine and dandy when you do it to other people's community. Oh, okay. Okay. And it's not even about like playing like into the race thing. Because again, like, I support Ben's right to share his opinion. And I think, as long as he's being correct, which he is, I have no problem with him calling that out. But then, like, don't act like a victim, or don't be so overly offended when the same thing is done to your community and people are calling out, your flaws and your faults, whether they're right or wrong, you know. And again, why I don't agree with a lot of Candace's takes on this, she has her right to her opinion, and it really isn't even like that bad. Her take is just more, pro America. She doesn't want to be involved at all, and she's just kind of disgusted with the war in general, and she's just disgusted with how Israel is responding, which she has her right to feel that way. Like, I don't understand like what's so disgraceful about that. So yeah, let's get back into it.
The thing that I don't like I don't know. I say the military did a thing that I don't like I don't know, drone striking civilians, Barack Obama, or bombing a hospital, allegedly IDF. How is one justified and the other one anti-Semitic? Make that make sense. I don't make racist comments about Jews. It's not about them. It's about the government. But before I get too deep into it, let's check out some more clips here. Here's another one. I think this might be the main thing that Ben Shapiro was upset with. Let's go ahead and roll this. And of course, it'll be in the box.
There are a lot of people in America that are sitting here going, okay, well, can you answer why Jews are so special? Because as white people in this country on university campuses, we are being taught that we are not allowed to have a voice. We have had to endure exactly what you're talking about, BLM. We've endured much worse than you have because it's in the actual textbooks. We are being told that we are systematically racist, that we are born wrong because of the color of our skin. And if we say anything, we'll lose everything. This is the typical experience on white campuses. So people, this is not whataboutism. This is like actually what we have been fighting for years. So it sort of arrived as, I think, for a lot of Americans, a surprise when they're saying, well, now that it's about Israel, which is something that's overseas, we need to, hand these university professors, we need to do something about this issue. Why weren't we trying to correct course on this issue? Why weren't donors pulling their funding out of these universities? Why weren't these same things being said for these last, I would say, 8 years of rampant BLM, white man can't do anything right, actively being taught in the classrooms?
Now, this is a very good point. Very good point. Now, some are going to get offended at her opening statement about why are Jews so special. But what she's saying here makes sense. You have all this action happening in college campuses against a lot of these groups that are deemed as anti-Semitic.
I keep seeing it's like delaying, so I'm trying to like see if I can correct the delay.
Against a lot of these groups that are deemed as anti-Semitic. But the same action did not happen when you're talking about BLM. And a lot of these groups, not all, but some people in these groups were actively destroying Black neighborhoods, white neighborhoods right here in America. But groups that are talking about some foreign country, all of a sudden now we want to take some action. So why are they so special? What about us as American citizens? And you could be a Jewish American citizen, a Christian American citizen, black, white, Puerto Rican, Kenny Stripe. What about us as Americans? Shouldn't that be the focus?
So there are people that are asking that question now. What I have said is that explicit calls for genocide, which was stunning to me to see that in Congress, are completely wrong. It is frankly crazy. I have not weighed in on the IDF's response in the same way that I have consistently said through every war, Ukraine and Russia, I don't want to be involved. I have said I don't want to be involved in Israel and Palestine, all these conflicts. My consistency seems to offend people, right? But I haven't made a single tweet or a single comment on IDF's response in Palestine. I haven't said a single thing about that. I have said it is always sad when a child dies. And the lack of humanity that I have seen from both sides has been very troubling for me. But to say that I have to weigh in.
Don't interrupt my man. What she's saying, let her cook, sir. Let her cook. And that's a good point what she made right there about being consistent. I'm the same way. I'm consistent. I don't think we need to be involved in any kind of foreign conflict. I said the exact same thing about Ukraine. It's like, why are we over there spending money, resources? What are we doing?
Yeah, and Candace really has been very consistent on her take as far as like foreign conflicts. She really doesn't. She is not a fan of U.S. involvement in any foreign conflicts. Not right now. Like she is really passionate about America and American issues, and she is not just interested in focusing her time and attention and focusing our resources on other conflicts when we have so much going on at home. So she has been very consistent over that, and it's bothering people that she's not like condemning Hamas. I mean, she condemned Hamas, but like it's bothering people that like she's not like taking this super like pro-Israel stance and like waving the Israeli flag. Like it's really bothering people, and she's been really vocal about just issues that are important to her, and so I don't understand why people see it as such an issue for her to want to focus on things that are important to her. Like, why does she have to think this is really important? Like, she doesn't have to think that this is a really important issue. She doesn't have any personal connection to Israel or to that community. So, and that's okay. Like, I don't either, but I still think I'm slightly passionate about it. Like, I do still care about that issue with what's going on, even though I have no connections to it. But Candace doesn't, and that's okay. Like, I don't understand like why everyone has to weigh in, like everyone has to pick a side and like be really vocal about what side they're on. Like I just don't understand that. So let me get back into it. Pretty sure it's almost done with this.
Zelensky coming to the White House wearing sweatpants, talking about can I hold $40 billion, $100 billion, quadrillion dollars. I'm not a fan. I don't like it. So why would I all of a sudden change all that for Israel? Why? Now, if I do that, I'm fake. And one thing about me, I've been able to build myself up, my name, a reputation for being an honest person. You may like it, love it, hate it, disrespect it. It doesn't matter. I'm going to be honest, period, point blank. But let's continue.
And suddenly, wave an Israeli flag and say things that, because you decide that you get to use my platform because it's personal to you. How is that fair to people? How is that fair? And then to go a step further and to suggest that it might be anti-Semitic, which is basically silence is violence, as a leftist tactic, to me feels very extreme.
This is not about a geographical, geopolitical dispute between Israel and Palestine. This is about an ideological mission to rid the world of Israel and the Jews.
Actually, it's about a geopolitical dispute. That's what it's about, because that's what's happening. Now, you can think that it's about some greater thing, some global thing, but what's happening right now is what's happening right now. And our comments are talking about that specifically. Hey, don't bomb a hospital. Hey, don't shoot little kids. Hey, don't shoot elderly people. That's what's happening right there on the ground. And that's what our response is about.
Yeah, and that's where me and ABL and also me and Candace where we part ways, because and I think, and like I said earlier, like that's just where like they're just a little like misinformed on what's actually happening over there, because one, the hospital bombing thing proved to not be correct. It proved that it was not Israel who did that. It was a failed missile on the Hamas. So it was another militant group that's connected to Hamas. And it wasn't hundreds of people killed in the hospital. It was like, I don't even know if we ever got like an actual number, but it was just a lie. It was a lie from Hamas. A lot of the information that we're receiving on the death toll. Not saying that there aren't people who are dying. That's not what I'm saying. But a lot of the information that we are receiving on the death toll of civilians from, over in Gaza, that information is coming from Hamas, the terrorists, like the terrorists who lie constantly, like who consistently lie. So this idea that Israel is just like on this like unhinged attack is just not true. It's not correct. So that's where we part ways. But we're gonna go ahead and move on from ABL. Shout out to ABL. Again, go check out his channel if you guys are interested. So what I want to do. Oh, so you heard Ben's critique of Candace. I feel like I'm freezing a lot. I hope I'm not. That's gonna irritate me if I am. Yeah, it's gonna irritate me if I'm freezing like that. I look fine over here, but this is where. Anyways, okay. So we are going to look at. So Candace has tweeted in response to what people are speculating is the response to what Ben said on that's in that setting with those people who were there, and he was calling her disgraceful and this, that, and the third. And I think this is why people are speculating that she may be parting ways with the Daily Wire, which would be really, really tragic. I don't know. I might have to cancel my subscription. If she leaves the Daily Wire, I might have to cancel my subscription because, again, I just cannot get on board with what Ben did, and I think that they need to see like the impact of what Ben has done by turning his back on Candace and by throwing her under the bus to the public and to his audience. So if that were the case, I think I might have to cancel my subscription to Daily Wire for sure. But this is the tweet that Candace made after this came out. So and she says, "Blessed are the peacemakers." The Bible verse, by the way. "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you, falsely for my sake. No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money." Ooh. Mm. I don't, like I said, y'all, I don't like this at all. I am not a fan of this hostility between them. Um, and so this was earlier today. This was earlier today. And what she just shared more recently, about 2 hours ago, she says that tomorrow I will be sitting down to chat exclusively with Tucker Carlson. What an honor. Is she going to address this? I feel like she has to. And I think she may really go on a rant, an unhinged rant about Ben with Tucker, because Ben has also been very critical of Tucker's coverage of this. And he has kind of like disingenuously made remarks about Tucker as well. And, I think throughout this conflict, even though I do agree with Ben, whenever there are people who I know, who I speak to, who are trying to, get a better understanding of the conflict, who are still learning and trying to engage with it. I don't usually steer them in the direction of Ben because I just know how emotional he is. And I've been seeing like a lot of like his like critiques of other people, and their like maybe pro-Palestine view, and it's a lot of it can be, it's a little disingenuous because he's just so emotionally attached to it, which again is understandable. But then it's just like, if you can't give like an unbiased take, if you can't like remove your emotions out of it, then maybe just don't give your take on it, man. You know what I mean? Like, and again, it's just so disappointing to see him turn on Candace this way. And you know, there's nobody on earth that you're going to agree with 100% of the time. Like, it just doesn't happen. There are a lot of things I don't agree with Ben on. Like, I think Ben is completely out of his mind when he criticizes Vivek Ramaswamy, and when he is still like propping up DeSantis as like the golden child of the party. Like, and he had a lot of disingenuous takes on Vivek Ramaswamy, and but I still support him. I think Ben, I think you're an idiot for that take, but you are more than entitled to your opinion, and you're more than entitled to express that. And it's just like, why? I don't understand why he doesn't give other people that same grace, and just allow them to just share their thoughts. And this goes back to another video I did when Vivek was calling out the right's hypocrisy on censorship, because the right complains about censorship when it's things that we want to talk about, but now, like, like, take, like, when you're looking at Ben, it's like, now when it's something that you don't agree with, or when you were really really passionately against it and someone's talking about it, now you have a problem with them speaking their mind. It's like, you can't have it both ways. You really can't. Like, it's either you are against censorship and you support everyone's right to share their opinion and speak their mind, no matter how much you disagree with it, or no matter how vile it may be. That's their opinion. And the way that we fight those bad opinions or those disgusting takes is that we speak more. We try to educate people on it. You don't just try to shut them up, or scold them and attack them into being silent. Like, it's just not productive at all. um, so I really am curious to see what's going to happen tomorrow with this. I'm curious to see what Kenneth is going to say on Tucker Carlson. I'm curious to see if Ben may respond as well, if he'll kind of give more commentary on it. So I guess we'll find out tomorrow. But I did want to just get this video out there, um, you know, before things blow up even more, and maybe we'll all watch the Tucker and Candace interview together. Maybe we can do that tomorrow. So that's all I'm gonna do for tonight. Thank you for tuning in, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you to my new subscribers. Thank you for showing me so much love on my last video, my last live stream. I really, really do appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like button on your way out, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that post notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. I definitely do want to cover that Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens interview. Oh yeah, we gotta get into that. But yeah, that's all for me for tonight. Bye.